What if the concert you've been dying to see is the one that kills you? Ever heard of a band so exclusive you can't buy tickets, only earn an invitation? It sounds thrilling, right? Until you're standing in a dark, abandoned factory with no way out. Because once you're inside, the doors lock, the crowd cheers, the bass shakes your bones, the lights blind you, and then the real show begins. These are the stories of 3 terrifying true events that proves the scariest part of a concert isn't the crowd. It's what happens when the band begins to play. I know Creepyredds isn't huge yet, but the fear you're about to feel, it's real. Sometimes the scariest tales come from the smallest voices. So watch till the end, and if you truly feel the fear, then hit that subscribe button. And I know it won't let you go without hitting that red button. I got invited to an obscure, experimental concert. It changed my life forever. I saw another one today, spray painted above a sewer entrance. An arrow pointing downward into darkness. NVSH. 20 years later, they're back, and the name still makes me sick. When I was 17, music was my life. Grimy basement mosh pits, field shows powered by stolen generators, night drives with the radio screaming. I had a part-time job at Sundown Records, which paid for gas and beer and gave me one perk, Dylan Fugees. Dylan was a local legend, a tastemaker whose shop walls were plastered with flyers of bands he'd made. When I told him his test songs sucked during my interview, he hired me on the spot. Dylan knew all the underground secrets. He was older, charming, and impossibly stylish. I was hopelessly in love. One night, I overheard a call in his office. His voice was giddy. "Really, they are? I'll be there." He burst out of the room. "Big news, NVSH is playing this weekend." I'd never heard of them. Dylan rolled his eyes. Nobody knew who they were, not even how to pronounce their name. NVSH didn't sell tickets. Entry required a specific item. Proof he knew someone close to the band. This time it was chicken soup cubes. Then he invited me. I lied to my parents about a study session. My dad agreed, but only if I took my younger sister, Raquel. Great. The next day, Raquel and I raided a church basement for the ugliest clothes we could find. Dylan said NVSH only let in people who looked homeless. Raquel grumbled, but she played along. I found a tattered vest, shredded jeans, and a leather belt with a skull buckle. Then we grabbed bullion cubes from a mini-mart and caught the bus. I expected a club. Instead, we found abandoned warehouses, prowling stray cats, and 2 white semis parked near a rusted factory door. NVSH was spray-painted above it. The crowd looked like us, ragged, carrying bullion cubes. Then I saw Dylan. Without his polished image, he looked old, hungry. His face soured when he saw Raquel. "Who's this?" "My sister." I said, "1 invite per guest." "You invited me. I invited her." His jaw tightened, but he let it slide. The door screeched open. 6 massive, bald men stepped out, identical faces, pale skin, blank, black eyes. They weren't security, they were something else. The line shuffled forward. They checked for metal with wands. Raquel whispered, "I have my phone." I cursed, then stuffed it down my pants. If it set off the detector, I blame my belt buckle. The wand buzzed. One of them pointed at my buckle. I slipped it off, praying they wouldn't find the phone. They passed the buckle around, then waved me in. We squeezed through a pitch black corridor into a massive metal-walled room. The stage hung high above. Then the band came out, and my blood ran cold. It was the same 6 men. The music began. It wasn't music. It was wrong. A droning hum that felt like insects in my skull. Bass notes like chewing jaws. People hesitated, then forced themselves to dance. Anything to justify being here. Then sprinklers erupted. drenching us in oily, lukewarm liquid that smelled like chicken broth. The floor turned slick, rising to our ankles. People laughed nervously, still dancing. Half the crowd raged in a frenzied mosh pit, while the other half, me included, started looking for exits that didn't exist. That's when I saw Raquel, grinning, spinning, happier than I'd ever seen her. She shook me off when I tried to pull her away. The water climbed higher. The metal walls, they were moving inward. Dylan had tried to warn me earlier, I realized. This wasn't a concert. It was a trap. Panic boiled over. I shoved through slick bodies, screaming, but no one heard me over the noise. I couldn't move. The crowd crushed tighter, tighter. I remembered the phone, my last chance. I fished it out, the glowing screen like a beacon. The music stopped. Dozens of heads snapped toward me. I dialed 3 digits. 911. Hands clawed at me. The crowd howled. Then something yanked my throat. A steel snare pole dragging me onto the stage. 911, what's your emergency? Chirped a voice from the phone. Everything froze. The band exchanged looks. Then one dragged me toward the exit. I babbled into the phone, pretending it was a mistake. The grip loosened. They shoved me outside. I begged them to let me get Raquel. Another MVSH member charged, swinging the pole. Pain exploded in my wrist. The phone shattered. The door slammed shut. I ran. By the time I found help, it was dawn. The factory, the semis, the band, the crowd. They were gone. So was Raquel. The police wrote it off as an ongoing investigation. Reporters laughed me off. I dug deeper, found whispers online, ripped clothing near show sites, sacks of pink sludge loaded into trucks. Then came the threats. Jumbled letters and numbers hiding details about my life. Then the calls. Garbled noise and screams, the sound of NVASH shows. I stopped digging. The calls stopped too. I built a new life, a quiet one, until yesterday. A colleague grinned at me in the cafeteria. A super exclusive band is coming to town. No tickets, just bring spice packets. They'll change your life. He leaned closer, whispered one word. NVSH. I should not have gone to that rave. I shouldn't have gone to that rave. I'm writing this as a warning, and maybe someone out there knows what the hell happened. My name's Mika. I live for underground music. You'd never catch me without headphones. I chase the edge, the places where new sound is born. Warehouse raves, basement shows, fields lit by stolen floodlights. I've seen people OD, cops raid, someone even crushed to death. I knew the scene, I knew the risks, but that night was different. It started weird. I heard about the rave that morning. Normally, word spread slowly through whispers and gossip. This one just appeared. The DJ's name was Mesmer. My friend Gray was buzzing with excitement when he told me. His grin made my skin crawl, though I didn't know why at the time. We met that night and drove out. The place was a dead industrial area, way more active than usual. People gathered outside a building with big for lease signs. Looked like a normal setup, so we went in. Inside, it had the usual chaos. Lasers, sweat, bodies grinding to the beat. But the music? It was terrible, completely off, no rhythm, no soul. It sounded broken. I looked up at the DJ and felt a chill. He wore a black suit, black gloves, and a matte black motorcycle helmet. He didn't move, just stood there, perfectly still behind the decks. I turned to Gray to complain, but he was beaming. "This is great," he mouthed. I stared. What the hell was he hearing? He started pushing toward the stage. That wasn't like him. He usually stuck close to me. But I followed, elbows out, trying to keep him in sight through the packed crowd. It got hotter, tighter. We were sardines. Then everything stopped. Not the music. It kept going, dissonant and raw. But the crowd froze. The guy in front of me stopped dead. I tried to push past him. Nothing. He was stiff as stone. Then I realized it wasn't just him. It was everyone, all around me. Mouths were moving in unison. Hundreds of people chanting to the warped music, perfectly synchronized. And they weren't saying words. Not in any language I knew, just low guttural sounds, repeated over and over. It was the most unsettling thing I've ever witnessed. I turned to find Gray, panic setting in, but there was no way forward. I was boxed in. My eyes snapped to the stage. The DJ stood motionless, watching. Then another black-suited figure stepped up beside him, just as still. I was done. I didn't care if Gray stayed. I had to get out. I fought my way back, heart pounding, sweat in my eyes, the crowd chanting louder now. Outside, the street was silent, dead. The pulse of that nightmare music was muffled behind the door. No one else was out there. No cars. No sound. I ran to the car and locked the doors, checked my phone. 12:06 a.m. I texted Gray nonstop. Dupe, get out. Something's wrong. Where are you? Answer me. Nothing. I waited for almost an hour. Then I drove back. The street was empty. Not even a stray car. The building looked abandoned again. I stepped inside. The rave was gone. No lights. No stage. Just a dusty, empty space with trash scattered across the floor. No sign that anything had ever happened. Gray is still missing. His phone never turns on. There's no trace of the party. I keep thinking about that crowd, those dead eyes, those voices chanting in unison. The second black figure on stage. I've seen messed up things at underground parties, but nothing like this. This wasn't drugs. This wasn't music. This was something else. If someone tells you about a last-minute rave with a DJ named Mesmer, or if you hear about a secret show where the crowd is transported or entranced, don't go. Don't go. The first concert I went to was the worst night of my life. I've never liked concerts. I prefer music in my room alone. Sure, live shows have energy, but that was never enough for me, until my brother dragged me to one. Trevor was obsessed with concerts. Our strict religious parents hated it. They tore down his band posters, banned metal music, and scheduled family events on concert nights. That evening, they left for church, leaving both cars behind. Trevor, Dad said, don't you play that devil music. As soon as they left, Trevor grinned. Get your shoes, we're going. Why me? Because I'm not leaving you home to burn the house down again. So I ended up in a car with his friends, heading deep into the woods. The concert wasn't in a stadium, it was in a clearing. 2 guards stood at the entrance. Instead of tickets, people showed bright gold CD cases. Not a normal concert, I muttered. Just need proof you're a fan, Trevor said. The crowd wasn't huge, but it wasn't small either. The band was on stage, minus the singer. Then she appeared. Golden hair, golden outfit, a shimmering guitar slung over her shoulder, and her eyes glowing gold, burning even in the dark. When she smiled, my stomach knotted. Sorry to keep you waiting, she said. Her voice was soft, yet chilling. I tugged Trevor's sleeve. We should go. No way, the show's starting. When she began to sing, the sound was hypnotic, beautiful but wrong. The crowd swayed, faces slack with bliss. I waved at the guy next to me. Nothing? Trevor, I hissed. No response. His eyes were glassy like everyone else's. Then the music stopped. Is everyone enjoying the show? She asked. The crowd erupted in cheers. Louder, she demanded. The noise turned deafening. People screamed and clapped as blood streamed from their ears and mouths. But their smiles didn't falter. I dropped to my knees, clutching my head. Stop, I shouted. It went silent. I looked up and she was staring at me. What's wrong? She asked, grinning with teeth too perfect to be human. The crowd, including Trevor, turned toward me, smiling, blood dripping from their lips. Who are you? I yelled. That question has many answers. She strummed her guitar. Sparks blinded me, and when they cleared, she was gone. The smiles vanished, replaced by agony. One by one, they dropped dead. That's when everything went black. When I woke in the hospital, Trevor was alive barely. He couldn't speak for a month. Afterward, he never argued, never blasted music, never smiled the same way. He threw out all his posters and metal CDs. One day I found something he missed, the golden CD case from that night. I don't know why, but I kept it. I've never played it. I never will. Still, I dream about her. In those dreams, I dance to her song forever. My body decays, but I keep moving, while something vast watches from above. Something with endless golden eyes and white wings. She wasn't the monster. She was its voice. If you ever see her, if you ever hear that music, run.